Hello. I am doing live for the very first time, a vertical live stream. I'm giving this a try and seeing if anybody joins. So I'm just going to hang out here and see if folks will join. What I'd like to share for today, I'm not really sure if this live will save to my feed after I'm done, but if it does, I just kind of wanted to hop on and share some things for people. But let's see if anybody will join. Hello, hello. Let's see. I have two folks in the queue. Welcome. This is my first time going live here on YouTube. So I figured that I would test this out and see what folks will be interested in joining and just kind of having a casual conversation and talking through some things as I am learning them in real time and sharing it with some other fellow creators, crafters, or those who are just curious. So, testing this out to see how this goes. Hello, hello, welcome. I'm trying to see how I can see who has all joined and look at the comments. I'm not sure who joined, but welcome. I am testing out vertical live stream on my phone. I just wrapped up a creator session with the YouTube community, and I figured I would just kind of hop on and share with those who might be interested some tips for navigating the YouTube platform as I am personally learning. So again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just trying this out and testing this out and seeing who joins, and whoever joins, I'll share with you the information that I learned today. So I think your name is Raylyn. Hopefully I am saying that properly. So welcome, glad to have you here. So yeah, basically I'm just going to be sharing a few simple ways to avoid burnout as a content creator. Oh, nice. I said it correctly. Nice, nice, nice. Welcome. Glad to have you here. There are a few folks trickling in. So as folks trickle in, I'll just continue to just reiterate what I'm planning to talk about. Basically, I wanted to talk about a few simple ways to avoid burnout as a content creator. I have been creating content for many years, both personally as well as professionally. But I wanted to share today in particular because more recently I just joined the YouTube creator community. And within the YouTube creator community, you get a chance to connect with other creators. And so today I had the pleasure of just kind of hosting and leading a Hive session. And basically what that is I got a chance to facilitate a conversation amongst other creators. Now, there are some creators where you can choose to have folks join and you talk about a particular topic, but I chose to just have a casual conversation and just not make it a whole production. And that's another reason why I wanted to hop on and just share a few simple ways to avoid burnout as a creator, because I think oftentimes as a creator and even personally, we think things have to be this big grand production. It has to be, the lights, the sound, the camera. We think it has to be all these things. And today through that conversation, I was just kind of enlightened on different ways you can still create content, still engage with your audience, and not make it a big thing. So one of the things that they shared is going live and doing vertical video. So that's why I went ahead and just hopped on a vertical live video today to give it a try. I know if you are a creator who's looking to grow your channel, grow your audience, there was a lot of folks giving feedback that if you do vertical live stream, it is just a simple and a casual way to just grow your audience, because these vertical live stream videos, they pop up on the Reels tab. And so, as people are just like scrolling on YouTube, they may scroll and stumble across a live video stream that you're having. So, I figured I would give that a try. I will admit that, sometimes if you're playing around with a new format, like I've been on YouTube for a while, and for the longest, I had just been creating long form videos. And then when they rolled out Reels, I had to get, comfortable with making reels. And now that, they have live vertical streaming videos on YouTube, I'm like, okay, let me experiment with that. And I think sometimes as a creative, we kind of get in our own heads and we think it has to be certain lights, a certain setting, or certain this and that. And you don't really have to do all of that. And so I'm like, let me get out of my head, let me get out of my own way and just turn on the camera and just share some things and not make it a big production. So that's one of the things that I took away from today's call, where I just kind of hosted this casual conversation amongst other creators. Vertical live stream is something that is growing and it's really popular, and it's a way that you can build your audience. Something else that was surprising to learn is that utilizing the community tab on YouTube. Now, this was a game changer for me because on my community tab of YouTube, I just kind of share casual updates of what's going on with my channel, um, or if I may come across some new patterns or just like little things that are relevant to my channel. But something else that I learned is that you can still engage with your audience by even doing something as simple as hosting quizzes on your community tab. And that's a way for you to still remain consistent. It doesn't have to be a real video, it doesn't have to be a long form video, it doesn't have to be a live stream, but something as simple as um you just posting on the community tab is a way for you to still be consistent on the platform, still engage with your audience and let them know what's going on without having to make it a big production. Let me check out some of the comments here. Hello. Welcome. Glad to have you all here. I am just testing this out for those who are joining, and just talking about simple ways to avoid burnout as a content creator. One thing that I was mentioning was the community tab. So I want to go back to this community tab and utilizing this. The reason why this was such a big game changer for me is because for the folks who follow my content, you all know that I typically share the behind the scenes of creating content, as well as I let you all into just my sewing journey, things that are working and things that aren't working. And at the moment, my sewing machine is currently in the repair shop. Also, if it looks like I'm looking off to the side, I am. I have some notes here so that way I don't completely yap your ears off. I just want to stay on topic and just share the main things that I learned from today's YouTube creator call. But going back to the community tab. Okay, so I think that the reason why it was a game changer for me about utilizing the community tab is because for me, as someone who has started to share their sewing journey on the platform, share the behind the scenes, and also want to continue to maintain a connection, an audience, and be consistent on the platform, sometimes, again, going back to we think everything has to be a big production. Well, I'll just speak for myself. I think that everything has to be a big production and I have to create a long form video. The community tab, as I'm like in the process of my sewing machine getting fixed, updated, and all of that, cleaned out, oiled, spruced up, I can still utilize my community tab and find different ways to connect with the folks who are interested in my sewing and craft content by going through my sewing patterns and asking, like, hey, once I get my sewing machine back, which one of these patterns would you all like to see me stitch up next? Which fabric would you like to see me work with next, and maintaining that dialect and that conversation with folks instead of waiting until I get my sewing machine, waiting until I have the time to create a long form video. I could just simply utilize all the other features that are on the platform, not just sticking to long form content, not just sticking to shorts, and really utilizing all the different things that are on the platform. And I think that that will kind of lighten the load of that pressure of thinking that everything has to be a big production. But this is getting pretty long and pretty lengthy. I just wanted to hop on and just share some of the things that I was learning in real time today. I wanted to hop on and give vertical video a try. This is something that I'm going to be experimenting with in the future. And so, for those who are joining, I'm glad to have you here. I'll continue to update you all on things that I'm learning on how you can, you know, do well on the platform. We're all trying to figure it out as creators. So I'll continue to share that with you all. Hopefully, I will experiment with sewing live vertical video pretty soon as I get my sewing machine back. I'm going to be playing around with a few different features. So stick around if you are interested in learning, different ways you can improve your content as a creator. Stick around. I'm going to be sharing the details with you all as I learn them. So thanks again for those who have tuned in today, join. I just want to, share a little tidbit. So I'll holler at y'all later. Bye.